Categories. So let's skip to the framework. The framework offers you a stronghold, so it offers you a structure that you can use on your own, or you can use yourself to categorize the different tokens. So in this case we use a very comprehensive overview of, I think in untitled.inc. We will post the resource or the source in the further reading. Definitely read up on the source. But we will explain it here shortly as well, because you might need an overview of it. So this framework offers you the structure from five different angles. As mentioned before, different disciplines look from different kinds of perspectives. These are 5 different perspectives that you can view a token on. So the first one is probably the most important one. What's the purpose of your token? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to use it to transact value? Do you want to use it as a utility? Stuff like that. And once more, of course, look at the slides for the entire overview. Read the article to get a proper, decent background. But start with the purpose. Otherwise, you might end up using a utility token. So the second one is a utility. What is the role? What if it's going to be a service, what kind of service is it going to be? Are you going to do some cloud storage, etc., etc.? Many different roles there, so not diverting. Thirdly, one often overseen component is the legal structure. How does this definition or your purpose and utility fit in the current legal framework? If there isn't a fit, what's going to happen next? What will be the implications on the fact that there isn't a fit? Stuff like that. You can't, and that's often the case in the cryptocurrency world, you can't neglect or ignore the legal component. If you want to get adopted in the society, you most likely will need some form of legal framework. Unless, of course, you are cross-border, like Bitcoin, for example, then you can hoover a bit around. Which also doesn't mean that the current legal framework is sufficient. Most likely it will be the case that the legal framework needs to adapt based on this new economy, so new economic system. So the technology doesn't always adapt to the legal framework. Sometimes the legal framework needs to adapt on the new technology perspective. It is therefore also known as a paradigm shift, sometimes creating new insights, leading to, for example, a new legal framework. But that all about in the last week, the legal week. Other than that, what's the underlying value? Are we transferring digital assets? Are we transferring physical assets? Am I an investor holding a security for an asset? Or is it a digital Bitcoin? Stuff like that. And last but most definitely not the least part, what's the technological framework? As seen previously, we've got the token design elements that you need to encounter in your decisions. Stuff like that. So take your time, read up through the further readings, watch this framework, and most importantly, take your favorite token or your top 3 token and run them through the framework. And eventually you will end up in a certain path for each perspective on your own token, giving you tremendously new forms of insight.